Doghouse Racing League is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen, open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of the West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bars. And don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Are you looking for sports merchandise for your favorite teams, apparel, jerseys, headwear, hard goods, and looking to be involved with NASCAR? Fanatics is your one-stop shop. Fanatics is partnered up with all major professional sports leagues as well as hundreds of collegiates and pro teams. Join them now at Fanatics. And if you use the link down below in the description, you'll be able to help out the Doghouse Racing League. While using that link, all commissions go to the Doghouse Racing League, which helps fund prizes and goods for the drivers out on track. Thank you so much for Fanatics and enjoy the show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Thursday night. Tonight, we give you coverage of the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series for the 2024 Season 1 finale. Tonight, we crown a champion. There are still 3 drivers with a mathematical chance to win a championship. 2 are in the hot seat of having the best chances. 1 needs probably the improbable to happen, but there's 1 driver in an absolute dominant spot for themselves of hoisting a championship if they could just finish inside of the top 19. Storylines will be cleared up a little bit more by the end of this evening on who's the favorite, but entering tonight, it's your SSR Designs 201 here at Charlotte. It's going to be a fun one. 16 rounds have gotten us to this point. It's time to see who will be grabbing that championship again here tonight for the first time. Will it be the teammates of Andrew St. Cyr, Kevin Thompson, or will it be the rookie of Michael Hayes? We are proud to give you all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting to answer that question. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up in the booth tonight, it's going to be Zach Hall. And Zach, the whole season has now come to this. 3 drivers still have a chance, but honestly, it looks to be all Kevin Thompson from the start.
It really does. This is going to be an interesting race, to say the least, with the scenarios that could possibly play out. I mean, there's opportunity that's still available out there with how many cars we've had showed up here tonight, but it's still in Kevin Thompson's really playing field to kind of control his own destiny. If he goes out there, gets a solid, top 5, top 10, there's really nothing anybody can do to take that away from him. So if he just goes out and does what he's pretty much done since the beginning of the season and just be consistent like he has, it's going to be tough to take it away. But in racing, we know what can happen. Anything is possible. So there's still opportunity with points available. It is still a chance that position can change hands. So we'll see if it does. But St. Cyr and Hayes have a tough uphill battle for sure.
They certainly do. 29 drivers expected to take the green. If any less than 29 take the green, Michael Hayes' chances of a championship are already going to be squandered. But tonight, it's at Charlotte for this evening's race, the last race of the season at a track that everyone has and owns when you get your iRacing subscription. A track, Zach, that everyone gets so much practice at. It's probably one of the most used 1.5-mile courses that anyone touches when you go to any series and season. But man, tonight with this next-gen car, with also being open setup, curious on how the drivers are feeling about a racetrack that's so ingrained into everyone's season that everyone knows so well.
You're exactly right. This is pretty much the home of stock car racing, in my opinion. The Charlotte Motor Speedway is, like you said, you get an iRacing subscription, folks. This is a track that comes with the iRacing subscription. You do not have to purchase this track, and we've all started in that rookie class, started down low, and had to drive this racetrack and learn it throughout the progression of different cars we've been in. And with the open setup side of things, it even brings a whole nother playing field into that aspect. So it's it's going to be really fun to see who's nailed that setup and just who has mastered this racetrack. Because again, seems like again most people have their most laps around here. It's a pretty even playing field, I'd say, to hold a championship.
Some people have confidence here. Others are hoping for some luck to line up in their hands. And we'll find out here very shortly on who's found the luck, who's found the skill, and who was the most prepared for the final race of the season. Qualifying begins as we've got 5 minutes to put down our fastest lap for these drivers, but they only have 2 laps to do so. You touch the grass, you touch the wall, you lose, go out of control. That lap is invalidated. So these drivers know they need to hit their marks and be perfect. And looking at the past of Charlotte races that have been ran here at the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series, there have been a wide different of scenarios of drivers that have never gotten the pole getting into victory lane. There's been drivers that got the pole, didn't lead the most laps, but still won the race. And there's also just been drivers that have utterly dominated, got the pole, led the most laps, and won. So it doesn't really matter if where you qualify for certain, but obviously you want to be up front, especially with the way that the point situation is looking like. If you're Michael Hayes, you have to be up front and be able to either the pole sitter or be on that front row to lead the most laps. Same for Kevin Thompson. That's a comfort zone for both of them. And they both have to be hoping for a major mistake by the 6th machine of Kevin Thompson. We already know Thompson's not going to qualify until later on in qualifying. So we'll get a clear picture of where Thompson's competition might be starting up front, as currently top of the board going to be the 8 machine of Chris Leftwich for himself. But Zach, we know it's going to be changing quite a bit here in the next 30 seconds.
That it will be. This board is going to be ever changing, so to say. And, you know, it's going to be interesting. You know, we talk about Michael Hayes. He's got to go out there and have a dominant race and dominant performance and really hope for the worst for Kevin Thompson. But when you're doing that, you just got to focus on his own race. And the one thing that I think Michael Hayes has lacked this season is the qualifying pace. So we'll have to see if he can find that, as right now Leroy Kovalets jumped to the top of the board along with Daniel Wilkerson back in the 3rd. So great times here, or early times for a few drivers. The one I am watching is the driver in the number 98 car of Jamie Horn. He's coming around for his next lap, and we'll see if that jumps him up, because Horn looked very quick in practice.
He certainly does, as Andrew St. Cyr going to be qualified 13th after his first lap, and it looked like it was a mistake for himself on the 2nd lap. St. Cyr only putting down 1 lap for himself in qualifying. He's sitting in pit road, but Michael Hayes talking about how he needs a great qualifying run. Put the 22 on top of the board for himself, as you see Steve Bonomo still looking to see how this 9's going to qualify again. Hoping for a top 15 run for Steven. He has been having a very up and down when it comes to qualifying. But shocker, I got to say here, Zach. Michael Hayes, top of the board. Andrew St. Cyr down to 17th. And I think his qualifying's over. Justin McMahon going to be topping up into 2nd. But all eyes still looming on the 6, who's just leaving pit road now.
6 leaving pit road. And also another strong contender here in the 20 machine, Brandon Fetterplace. We know that, you know, he's not in the championship hunt. He came in a little bit late to this season, but I tell you what, he is definitely one I think you got to watch out for next season. And there's no better way to end your season with some momentum in the finale here tonight. So let's see what Fetterplace can do, as he's going to be coming around for that 2nd time. We'll see if it jumps him up on the board, and it will. It's going to jump him to the top.
Top of the board for Brandon Fetterplace. These mile and a halves have been fantastic for himself, as Kevin Thompson finishes lap number 1 and is about to get prepared to put down some burners. This 6 machine, obviously we know that Thompson's been so quick at every track we go to. He's been the most consistent driver. That's why he enters tonight as your points leader. And here to this evening, there's not a lot of knowing. I mean, there's been major mistakes that have happened, bad luck recently. Here tonight, he just needs to minimize the bad luck, and he'll still be in victory lane, hoisting the championship, I should say, by the end of this evening. But first lap in, Kevin Thompson, 15th on the board. There's still plenty of time for some pickup. And Zach, right now, Thompson needs maybe a little bit of help, but he's still in a prime spot for the championship.
That he is. He really is. I mean, 15th on that first lap, and we know the pickup's going to come here. So looks like he's going to be starting inside the top 15. We'll see if he can nail this exit of turn 4. Looks good through there so far. We'll see what the pickup is. And it's going to be a 29.19 to the top of the board. And guess what? That's going to hurt the chances of Hayes and that 12 machine of Andrew St. Cyr, because if he can start out and get a lap led here to start this race, that is going to be a big deficit to come back from.
a lap lead knocks out Michael Hayes out of this championship hunt immediately if the 6 leads a lap. What Michael Hayes needs is for the 6 not to lead any laps and finish last here tonight in 29th. And there's also a couple of other scenarios that we're about to be taking a look at as qualifying is over. Kevin Thompson will be your pole sitter here tonight as we take a look at the point standings as we enter a 5-minute warm-up period for these drivers here this evening. But the point scenario, it's just our top 3. They are the only ones that mathematically have a chance to win the championship. But Michael Hayes, like we noted on, with such a deficit, if Kevin Thompson leads a lap, there's just too many points to recover. The 22 would be eliminated. It would not eliminate, though, Andrew Sancour, but it would make things a lot harder of forcing Sancour to be in a position where you have to lead the most laps and lead a lap, and it would still put him in a scenario where he has a chance still to win the championship. But Kevin Thompson, all he needs to do, lead a lap, maybe lead the most laps, and then finish inside of the top 20, and you have a championship under your belt.
This is looking better and better the more we get into the session here with Kevin Thompson with that pole position. I mean, if he can go out there and just lead that first lap, that's going to be a huge start to the race. And like you said, make a much bigger hole for St. Cour to come back from and completely eliminate Hayes. So it's definitely been an interesting start here. And right now, I mean, I even look at some of the battles we got for that top 5 in points. You got, Anderson, he's got a pretty sizable gap back to Atwood trying to hold into a top 5. And even Jamie Horde trying to hold back for that 4th position on Eric Anderson. So some close battles in between here, along with Clune and Atwood. So it's really making things interesting coming down to the end here as we got a few guys close.
And as well, with Jonathan Jennings not showing up here tonight, he has won the last 3 Charlotte races in pretty dominant fashion. With him not here, it opens up the window of who could win tonight's race. As we now take a look at our schedule, how we got to this point. I mean, this season has been so up and down with seeing the dominance of Jonathan Jennings throughout the whole entire season. At the beginning, Kevin Thompson mounted up a giant gap in points over the rest of the field that we've been slowly seeing Michael Hayes and Andrew Sancour close in periodically through the rest of the season. But tonight, it ultimately comes down to this of, are there enough points, enough positions to see Andrew Sancour upset his teammate of Kevin Thompson?
It's going to be tough, definitely, for sure, with the close out here tonight at Charlotte. But what a season we've had. It's been fantastic to watch. Gardner starting it off at Daytona with the victory. We'll get to see who closes out tonight. But we've had Kevin Thompson and Jennings battling it out through that middle part. And then you had, the likes of Hayes get his first win, Feder Place get his first win. I really think next season, when we get into it, it's going to be quite the battle with some of these new drivers they brought in.
Next season, already been notified, going to be 7 weeks from now when we come back for the 2024 season 2. And a lot of drivers excited for this new season. I think a lot of drivers want to reset, mentally prepare, and having ourselves 7 weeks of August going to be when we return with these drivers. It's going to be a fun one when we return. But before we get too far ahead of closing out this season, we do have to say thank you to our sponsors for the Doghouse Cup Series and just the Doghouse Cup leagues in general. I want to say thank you to Shoney's, who's been one of the primary sponsors for this Cup Series, who have also been a big help throughout all of the Doghouse Cup Series and Xfinity Series throughout the week. I want to say thank you to Shoney's, to the Today's All-American Kitchen. Go check out their many locations in the West Virginia area. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Also, huge thanks to Group 6. Rev up your brand's potential with Group 6 at every turn of the Doghouse Racing season. As your creative marketing powerhouse, we're here to fuel your success, accelerate your impact, and steer your brand towards victory. Group 6, where every race is an opportunity to outshine and outperform. Discover more at group6inc.com. That's group6inc.com. Go check out for more information. Also, if you'd like to help financially and get your swag for going to a sporting event, check out the link down in the description at Fanatics. Fanatics is your sports merchandise one-stop shop if you're looking to get yourself your team jersey, apparel, hatwear, or any other great goods. They also have seen Fanatic partner up with a majority of all major professional sports leagues, as well as collegiate level and the global soccer clubs around the world. the Doghouse Cup Series as well as the leagues. Earn commissions when you're using that link down in the description. All purchases give a small commission to the league to help out funding throughout the season and year. Thank you so much again to all the amazing sponsors that have helped out the Doghouse leagues in general and the Cup Series themselves. But Zach, tonight it's going to be a good one. Championship racing action about to begin. I cannot believe that the season has already come to this point, and we're about to be taking our final look at the grid for tonight's last race.
It's so amazing that it's already, came and went this fast. It just shows you how fast things happen when you're having a great time. And this league has been a blast so far. So we'll get to see how this grid's going to stack up here for our final race of the season.
As the field gets prepared, you take a look at your Group 6 starting results after qualifying is done. Taking the top spot, it's Kevin Thompson in the 6 machine. Again, Thompson leads a lap. Michael Hayes' chance of a championship are snuffed out immediately. But starting in second place going to be Brandon Fetter, place to drive to watch out next season, but hoping to outshine here tonight and have that momentum setting up. Driver that's in the most unlikely scenario, but still has a chance. Michael Hayes will start in 3rd. Justin McMahon will start 4th. Leroy Koblitz in 5th. Chris Leftwich 6th. 7th we find Jamie Horn. Christopher Simon in 8th. 9th we find Michael Skimia. And back after a start and park last week, it's the 78 machine of Daniel Wilkerson finishing out our top 10.
Starting in 11th, it's our 5th place point span of Eric Anderson. 12th, it's going to be the 60 car of Mike Leftwich. 13th is going to go to the 41 of Andy Cork, with 14th in qualifying going to the 4 of Bill Gentry. Starting 15th is going to be Joe McKnight. Alongside him in 16th, it's going to be the 18 of Trevor McLaughlin. 17th is going to be the 93 of Kevin Powell, with 18th position going to Stephen Bonomo. The 12 of Andrew St. Clair going to be starting all the way back in 19th. A lot of work for him to do. Starting in 20th alongside him in the final car in our top 20, Mark Dumont.
The last 9 drivers we find in 21st position. It's the 19 of Nicholas Atwood, last season's Rookie of the Year, the 45 Gary Clune. Richard Leclerc going to be starting in 23rd. Cameron King, who's had some poor luck, he's going to decide to qualify deeper in the field, see if that changes his luck moving forward in 24th. 25th, we find the 7 of Gary Armio. Then we also find in 26th position of Michael Dow. In 27th, it's Eric Anderson. And in 28th, waiting to see if they're going to be gridding up, it's Adam Gardner and Tony Martin going to be your last 2 drivers. And if we do not see Gardner or Tony Martin register in at the grid, Zach, that could already take Michael Hayes' chance away. Again, he needed all 29 drivers to start and have Kevin Thompson not lead a lap and finish in 29th position. With the drivers rolling off now, those hopes look to be already crushed.
That they do, Sam. That is tough to see. And Hayes had to feel like it was going to be an uphill battle really a lot against him here tonight. And with this now, I mean, he'll probably just have on his mindset, just go have the best race you possibly can and finish out the season strong. And wherever the cards lay, that is where they lay, folks. So we'll see how it shakes out. But the one we definitely have to watch out is the guy starting back in 19th. He's got a lot of work cut out for him. St. Clair is going to have to work hard here to try to somehow got here, win this race possibly, and hope that Kevin Thompson, his teammate, gets in some trouble.
I mean, entering into this season, it was a brand new league for us to cover, and I got to say, shout out to the fans that have watched, to the drivers. This has been an incredible first season to be covering the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series. It's becoming one of my favorite series to cover, with the drama and action that we've seen each and every week. But down to this, could we see ourselves, the teammates, be willing to rattle each other's cage, or will it be Kevin Thompson just riding into the sunset? It's time to crown ourselves a brand new Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series champion. As the pace car pulls off, we get prepared for 134 laps as the season finale, the SSR Designs 201, is underway, and Thompson, Better Place are going to be the 2 drivers roaring down into turn number 1.
Side by side, and Better Place actually a nose ahead entering into 1, so this is huge right here if he can get out here and lead that lap, because St. Clair is going to want to see that. But it's going to be the 6 of Thompson with the strong run off of 2. It'll be a nose ahead here heading down the back straight, but it's still going to be side by side as we enter 3.
And Michael Hayes, again, he can change up this championship run. Maybe his chances for a championship are out of the way, but if he gets up front or better place and they lead the most laps, that could put the likes of Andrew St. Court in a better position to maybe fight for a championship. With that one lap led, even if we had 29 drivers, Kevin Thompson's bonus point is crucial, makes things a little bit more of an uphill battle even for the likes of the 12 machine deeper in the field. But Kevin Thompson still willing to run a lower line, not trying to give any draft assistance to Fetter Place and the rest of the field side by side for third on back.
That it is. Michael Hayes there battling with Justin McMahon at 24, so good to see the 24 back out here on the racing surface. Is now even the 8 of Chris Leftwich trying to work his way around the 22 of Hayes here, who seems to be dropping back early as you see the fastest lap times clicking farther back. Gary Clune with that back all the way back in 18th, so it just shows you the speed everybody possesses.
And Zach, looking on the board, Andrew St. Court is not looking fast. He's already in 3 laps, giving up 3 positions. He's falling back outside of the top 20 and now going to be back in 23rd position as the drivers up front get to race back and forth. We find the 12 machine and already early on giving up a lot of time. In every lap that Kevin Thompson leads is a better chance that he'll get that most laps led bonus point, and that's going to make it almost impossible for Thompson to fight back for this championship.
It really will. It is going to be interesting to see how St. Court can rebound from this, but early loss here, and I mean, he's already 5 seconds almost behind the lead, so that's losing major time, and when you lose that time, it's going to be hard to make back up because you see there's a gaggle of cars here, and each and every one of these cars ain't just going to let you by.
They aren't, and there's almost contact being made between these drivers that are side by side. This is battling outside of our top 15, but also for the lead. Pass is made. Brendan Fetterplace to the new top driver as he's gotten by the 6 of Kevin Thompson. I think for Thompson, I recognize, okay, I've led my lap. Now I just need to be in cruise control and wait to see where my teammate will be, because there has to be over a 19 position or 20 point position difference between the 6 and the 12. And right now, it is all Kevin Thompson in cruise control as the rest of the field's getting a little bit more antsy on trying to slot themselves into some great track position early on.
Looks like, yeah, like you said, people trying to find track position, and that's the 60 of Michael Leftwich up there working the top groove, along with the 27 of Christopher Simon. And that, you know, anybody that's really ripping that top right now, really making up spots, those are the drivers that are pushing hard. You can really see them. They're carrying a ton of speed, a ton of momentum around the corners, and that's where the tires are going to get hot. These other drivers just wrapping the bottom, really slowing the cars down and making sure they don't get too much. But oh man, Justin McMahon almost gets doored there, and I think the 42 of Leroy Kobolitz there a little deep into the corner, but let's go slot the 24 now side by side with Hayes down the back straightaway as these two started in that second row. They're back 7th and 8th now.
Trying to make their push forward if possible. And Justin McMahon, you look at the history books of Charlotte, he won back at the second time they ran at this course. That was back in the 2022 season 1 race where he found himself getting the pole and winning at Charlotte and hoping for maybe some magic. But this 24 was hoping for a better season, I think, for Justin McMahon. It just seems like the power of the setup just wasn't there for this season. But a driver that we've seen evolve throughout this season, we right on board with him, of Jamie Horn and the 98 machine. I mean, Zach, from the start of the season to where he's at now, what a complete turnaround on finding that long run pace.
Yeah, I look back all the way to the national third round, Sam, where we've seen him have excellent takeoff pace and have some really strong, short run speed. And we kind of seen that trend continue on early into the season. But the thing is, this 94, and I mean, this 98, in my opinion, has been one of the most improved drivers of the season, especially when it comes to those race cars. It seems like that speed of the short run is still there, but it's also possessed with the long run. So the 98 definitely been a good one to watch, and it would be cool to see him possibly got here and get a win tonight. But looks like we got some pedaling back here is Eric Anderson, another top 5 points driver who's just had a solid season trying to work his way towards the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Anderson, I got to give kudos to that 43 machine. I think in the last 2-3 weeks, it's been just great run after great run. There's been unfortunate circumstances where he'll have a race where he's caught up in a wreck, where he'll make a simple mistake, throws away a good finish. But it has been awesome to see this 43 continue to fight for top 10 finishes. Also, at moments, looked like maybe he's got a chance for a top 5 run. But here tonight, just outside of the top 10, and he's still with the gaggle of cars that just can't get away from one another. And you're seeing already the field is searching for how you want to enter these corners with that puff of smoke entering the corner. That's going to become a usual thing as these drivers continue to search for that extra grip.
You can see everybody just slicing and dicing right now, just using these fresh tires. But I will say that will come back to hurt you. This surface here at Charlotte, everybody thinks of it being so smooth and so new. It is very much aged. It is purposely, it wears the tires out very much. So I think a lot of these drivers who are making big moves right now, they may pay the price here as we get farther into the run. It's just going to depend how those setups are all dialed in. But right now, you can see it. Michael Hayes putting pressure on the 60 of Leftwich here down the back straightaway. I think that 22, who's gave up a few spots, is looking now to possibly go back forward.
Give up maybe 3-4 positions, and you hope you'll get rewarded for even more later on. It's Michael Hayes seeing a wall in front of him. That's Christopher Simon on the outside. The 27, seeing the Old Dale Senior colors and that yellow and blue Shoney's machine. That's Mike Leftwich, father of Chris Leftwich, that's in front of these drivers for third. And here's the bump trap, small little tap, but it just looked like Michael Hayes was also trying to collect that car off the exit of the corner while trying to give the bump.
It definitely did look like, and that's going to let Leroy Koblitz go around the outside. But look at this Leftwich Hayes has found now. The grip is on behind him. The 43 Eric Anderson, he's cutting through the grass on the front straightaway. Luckily, he's going to keep it all together, and we will stay green there. But Anderson going to lose a ton of spots and drop all the way back around the 25th position.
Eric Anderson snapped loose off of turn 4 and off the nose of Justin McMahon. Drops backwards. Hard contact, but luckily he was continuing to race on. The 24 probably not amused to be getting that contact, but Justin McMahon has fallen quite quickly. He's now outside of the top 10 in 11th place is the 24. He's got a lot of work to start moving forward, but one of the drivers has been moving forward. Cameron King talked about poor qualifying. This 92 is showing once again, as well with Eric Warman. They're moving up quickly, both moving up double digits from where they qualified.
That they have. I mean, respectively 24th and 27th on the grid they were. Now, both those drivers inside that top 15. King up to 13th, Warman up to 15th now. As he actually makes a pass for 14th on Kevin Powell. And we'll see if they pay the price for this. When you gain a ton of spots like this, it can be an ominous sign of what to come. But I'll tell you what, some people know how to make up those spots and still hold on to that speed later in the run. We'll just have to see if they possess that. But Daniel Richardson trying to fight this 92's progress off.
As this is what the middle of the field looks like from third on back. The battle for the lead. At one moment, it was over a half a second of Brandon Fetterplace having the gap over Kevin Thompson. Well, Thompson, he's got the momentum. He's been working the outside lane, and he's found this wicked speed on the straightaway. The 6 machine looks like the podium. He doesn't want to just sit in second. He wants that lead pylon spot. Wants to get up front quickly as you see the 6. He'll mount the charge and duck it down low into turn number 3, and Thompson is setting sail for that lead position.
That he is, Sam. He wants to go get that 4th victory of the season and add a championship along with it. That would for sure guarantee things, so to say, if you're that 6 machine. And right now, he's seems like he's on cruise control, because I tell you what, the lap before he got to the 20 of Fetterplace, he ran a lap about a 10th of a second off his fastest lap, and we're 18 laps into this run. That is impressive to see still that much speed possessed by some of these cars.
We still have a long race to go. I'm curious if we could bring up the weather for tonight's race, because we are in that transitional phase of these drivers. We're going to be having that day to night transition. Later on, it will become fully nighttime, but currently, going to see that air temperature at 79 degrees Fahrenheit, track temp at a nice median of 86 Fahrenheit. We're expecting that track temp to maybe cool off a little bit here as the race progresses forward. And Zach, I'm curious, with the sun setting in this race, we've also seen it in the chat. They're talking about maybe people are having the setups for the nighttime conditions.
That's very true, Sam. This track changes a ton. Like there we see with the weather conditions, that track temperature, that's probably going to drop a ton once that sun starts to set, and that's going to have a huge effect. And really, from past history, this track changes probably more than most when it comes to how the weather affects it. So we'll see that grip pick up, and maybe a few of those cars start to find a little bit more speed. And maybe some of these cars who've been strong early, they might have to make a few adjustments to keep their car right in balance when it comes to how the track changes.
A couple of drivers have been having unfortunate races for themselves, forced into pit road early. It's going to be Michael Dow. Also, Gary Armio is very slow, about to be going a lap down here, probably in the next 8 laps or so. And Mark Dumont having their issues being extremely slow and expected to enter pit road. But drivers that are outside the top 5, that's where we're seeing these battling happening currently. And there's the 12 machine of Andrew St. Cyr finally into the top 20, but he's so far back, and it looks like we've seen all season long, twisted axle, they have the wrong long run pace, but there's just too much of a big gap between the drivers of the 6 of Kevin Thompson. 2 is St. Cyr, but also you're trapped behind some drivers that are getting a little bit mixy going through the AstroTurfs, the 12, as he keeps it now back on track. Oh boy, is this field getting mixy in the back half. This is the danger for Andrew St. Cyr of if you are further in the back, when you're trying to make that move forward, you're seeing that transitional phase right now, 20 laps in. Maybe this is the zone where some drivers start to lose the grip for themselves or the speed. We're seeing that ramp up the speed for the 12 machine. As you're seeing St. Cyr, Bill Gentry get close to one another, and Zach, I mean, this is such a dangerous threat that this 12 has now placed themselves for tonight's race.
It really is a dangerous threat, and right here we saw the 45 and the 4 kind of get into it a little bit before that, and that's what sent him through that grass area. And now St. Cyr just trying to find his way around. I mean, Clune, we know, is part of that twisted axle group, so wouldn't be surprised if he makes it a little bit easier. But the 4 up into that wall with the big run still around that 45. The 12, though, still stuck behind Clune, and he's going to be looking to find a way around him as quick as possible. We saw Clune really on that second lap, fastest lap of the race. So that told me he was pushing that car hard, and right now that 45 might be paying for that.
As again, this series, open setup, next gen racing driving on Thursday nights is the final race of the season. If you love seeing next gen racing action here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we covered another series on Wednesday nights. That's with the WSSR Cup series, as Bill Gentry still spooking into the outside wall. But we saw last night racing at Michigan, drivers were getting into the wall, and as long as they kept their foot in the throttle, it seemed like they were still able to keep at least some speed and momentum. As we were seeing there for Bill Gentry, you can get into the wall, but you got to keep your foot in the throttle.
You really can. It just seems like sometimes these next gens, if you just hit it just right, it's almost like you graze the wall and you kind of come off it perfectly. So these things are very, very strong when it comes to how tough these cars and resilient they are. So getting in the wall, not too big of an issue, but you definitely don't want to bend those fenders up, hurt those side skirts. That could really hurt that downforce and upset the balance of the cars. Man, we've had some great racing here as Leroy Koblitz trying to hold back the 70 out of Daniel Wilkerson.
This is battling for 12th place of Leroy and Daniel Wilkerson, and then behind them you also have Kevin Powell, Eric Warman, and also going to be seeing Andy Cork in this pack of 5 drivers. And Kevin Powell, I think, is the expected driver to get by this field, but Daniel Wilkerson is just drifting up closer and closer to the outside wall, and it's getting pretty hazardous with this group of the way they're racing between one another. Side-by-side racing is possible, but as the run progresses forward, you're going to see that lack of grip really show out. The heat in these tires build up, and that's always been a major talking point every race we go to, is the tires. How are they going to heat up and react to the track?
That's exactly right, Sam. A lot of times when we talk about tire wear and how much you burn those tires up, well, it's a lot of times with this next gen, it's more about the tire heat and the tire pressures. And the more heat you have, the more pressure that you build. So it's kind of a compounding trend that you have. And what it takes is the ability to not overheat those tires and just not step over the limit. And I think that's why some can run those quick times early and still keep that long run pace, because they're not going over that threshold, not really making that car want to understeer, push up the racetrack towards the wall, or get loose and kick the rear end out when they come off the exits. They're really just keeping it right in that perfect Goldilocks zone, and they're keeping the tires nice and in the perfect temperatures, while others, they're going out there pushing hard. You overstep that boundary, you're just building heat up right here. As man, Dumont getting to the quarter panel there of the 27. This is a big move for him.
And Mark Dumont came into pit road just 6 laps ago, had to make an emergency stop, getting repairs done, and got 4 fresh tires. And you're already seeing, I mean, this is a difference of 23 lap old tires. Even with a damaged wounded vehicle, the 14, he is making these passes look pretty easy for himself, and also enabling other drivers to try to attempt some passes for themselves. As we're seeing the grouping of 5th, 6th, and 7th being Chris Lefwich as well as that was Justin McMahon and others. Now we move up to the lead battle of Kevin Thompson and Brandon Fetterplace, who are in their own zip code and are willing to go back and forth. But right now, Thompson still holds the lead. Fetterplace has not been able to make that charge back, but at least keeping himself in distance. If there's a mistake, 2 pounds on it.
That he has. He kind of took off there early, got the lead, and Thompson said, I'm going to get out there and get the clean air now. And once Fetterplace has gotten the second, it's kind of kept this similar gap right here. And the last few times even, he's been a little bit quicker than Kevin Thompson. So that's a good look for him. We also see Michael Hayes. He drove up the third there with a quick pace. He's now starting to drop back and struggle a little bit when it comes to lap times. As Jamie Horn behind him in third, once again showing that 98 has got good long run pace late in the season, and he is working his way up about only 2 seconds behind our leaders.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's been another influence in tonight's race as Michael Dow is officially out of this race right now. Looking at other drivers that are struggling at this moment is Mark Dumont 2 laps down, trying to get back into a lap position. Looking at the point scenario for the championship, if you're just joining us, this is the last race of the season. It is now a 2-horse race of the championship between Kevin Thompson and Andrew St. Cyr. St. Cyr is now cracked into the top 10, but for St. Cyr to take this championship, he has to lead a lap. Hope Kevin Thompson doesn't lead the most laps here tonight, and as well on top of that, he has to make sure for Kevin Thompson, he's now in a must-win scenario for Andrew St. Cyr, The 12 must win, and we must have that 6 machine finish outside of the top 21st position, and that is the only way we could be seeing this championship switch.
It's going to be a tough hill to climb if you're the 12, and he's done a good job of working his way up here to 10th, and even that time by there around this, it's really shown that he saved this stuff because he's the fastest car on the track. He's about 4/10 faster than any driver ahead of him, all the way up to McMahon, he's about 2/10 quicker than him, the 5th position. So that 12 definitely making some ground up, but he's going to need more than this for sure if he wants to go out there and win that championship. But with us being on lap 30, coming here to complete 34, start 35, we're actually getting near the window for pit stops. I looked at the fuel window, 70% fuel here tonight, so only 14 gallons in these cars. They're looking like they can go 48 to 50 laps with those 14 gallons in these next gen race cars. So really the strategy kind of cut and dry. I think you'll see a lot of drivers pit around that lap 40 to 45 marker and then come down once more time again.
As Andrew St. Cyr puts the pressure 3 wide late in a run, but he's got the tires. He saved it up to make that move. Cameron King backs out, enabling now to be side by side of seeing this 12 and Christopher Simon battling between one another. Seeing Andrew St. Cyr just like that, now up to 8th place, and at one moment fell all the way back to 24th position to save up his tires. He's marched his way up to 8th, but again, the looming issue is he's gotten track position, but the time gap difference between Kevin Thompson and this 12 machine, with it being 7 seconds, you're going to need a major mistake from Kevin Thompson to allow St. Cyr to get back into this championship fight. But again, like you said, Zach, it's going to be coming down, I think, to pit stops. Minimize the mistakes there, and it can reward you very greatly later on.
It really can. I mean, if Kevin Thompson has that mistake on pit road, because, green flag pit stops, we can see how hard they are as we have that battle for 4th happening now as McMahon coming back home, the 22 of Michael Hayes, who these two saved their stuff. Hayes went a little bit earlier. The 24 decided to go a little bit later, and it's paid off for McMahon as he's now driven back up to the 4th position. So great run for him. But like I was saying, if Thompson has a mistake on pit road, that is the possibility that opens the door. But if you're St. Cyr, you still got to go out there and at least almost win this race if you want this thing.
Got to do everything in your power to set up for a chance here tonight as Justin McMahon, Michael Hayes again battling for 4th place. McMahon is trying to run down Jamie Horn. He's got about 3-second difference between 3rd and 4th place currently, as other drivers still in line, single filing out, and just trying to figure out where they would. I think at this point you kind of recognize, okay, what grouping you're racing around and what drivers you're kind of going to be stuck with, and other drivers dealing with the handling, kind of falling away with how aggressive they were driving early on. You have Eric Warman here in 12th place, one of the biggest movers so far in this run, with himself and Cameron King, Eric Warman, up 15 spots from where he started in qualifying. This is incredible to see from a 31, and I think seeing this big gap is helping him out. Staying away from trouble has been the big thing for this 31.
It really has. I mean, we talked to him last week. You know, he's had some unlucky moments this season, and I think that's what he's trying to do here, is just not have those moments show up here tonight. So Warman definitely a driver that would love to see another great run to end out his season. And right now, him and Powell definitely battling it out, as Powell looks like now going to be able to get a little bit of a breathing room from that 31, but the balance still continues on, as we're seeing a lot of these drivers who made the big moves up front, like Mike Leftwich there in that 60. He got all the way up to the top 5, now back to 15th, just showing you got there and use up those tires, they're going to fall away.
And speaking about falling away, Kevin Thompson almost threw his race away. The lap prior to this one got extremely loose off of turn 4, almost found himself into the grass in front of Brandon Fetterplace. And I think Kevin Thompson might be in a reset mode here for this race, as we're going to try to get a replay of this incident that was speaking of seeing the 6 snapping loose off the exit of turn 4. He's riding high, trying to keep his foot in the throttle. That's where he's been building up all his momentum, but snaps loose, keeps it together, but grazes the grass, and that could have been a lot bigger. But that's a sign of maybe you need to make a small adjustment later on after this next pit stop.
Yeah, it's very, very true, Sam. Yeah, I think definitely a little bit loose, and doing a good job right now of holding back Fetterplace, who's had a few looks on him in the 20 machine. So it's definitely not over for that battle for the lead for sure. But right now it looks like Atwood's starting to put the pressure even on Gary Kloon here for 16th position. So some battles back here, but we're seeing everybody, I think, start to struggle a little bit with these tires. The fall off is getting to a range where, you know, it's a pretty good distance. So right now, if you save something, it's going to be there.
And the driver that has saved the most, Justin McMahon, Andrew Sancour, who run 4th and 5th. They are running down our leaders at this current time. But again, they're both at one moment 6 seconds back each. Now going to be less than 5 seconds for Justin McMahon. Less than 6 seconds is Andrew Sancour. The pit stops now going to be looming for the field. Who's going to be the first to be a taker so far? See the 8 machine of Chris Leftwich, who's always known for his willingness to be aggressive. And speaking of aggression, Brandon Fetterplace, first driver to pit from that 2nd place position.
Not surprised to see this, Sam. I felt like 44 or 45 was that range you wanted to come down for that first pit stop. Great call from Fetterplace. You know, he was probably a little bit quicker than Kevin Thompson even there. Just seemed like he was stuck in the dirty air, couldn't get the run he needed. It seemed like that car was a little too tight, where the 6 was a little too loose. So maybe Fetterplace feeling like that's going to be the right time to come down, maybe get some clean air. But I believe this time Kevin Thompson, he's going to follow him down.
Next lap, Kevin Thompson seeing Chris Leftwich also taking a slower run. You also saw Andrew St. Coeur going to be in a lot of cars, a huge gaggle, deciding this is the lap to enter pit road of 45 to 46. We'll see the next grouping of drivers, but that is a total of 10 to 12 drivers deciding they're pitting now, leaving us with just the top 10 drivers at this moment, still needing to hit pit road, being led by Justin McMahon and Michael Hayes at this moment. And Justin McMahon, one of the more aggressive drivers on this attempt to enter pit road. A lot of other guys were already entering off the entry of turn 3 on the apron. And Justin McMahon might be rewarded with that aggressive try to push into pit road.
This pit road here is very deceiving. You would think it's, you know, kind of hard to get onto, but the way the banking transitions there on the apron, it just seems like you can carry a ton of speed, and there's actually a good bit of grip there. So I think McMahon really nailed it there, so to say, on the pit entry. And even up to that point, he was still running in the 30-second bracket, not 31s, where we've seen everybody else in the field doing that. So I like that McMahon stretched it just a couple laps farther. He's just now going to have that a little bit more advantage when it comes to tires.
Now going to be seeing Kevin Powell entering pit road. Bill Gentry is going to be one of the last drivers to make a stop here tonight, and he'll now be entering pit road. And because of making the early pit stop, it's going to be Brandon Fetterplace. He's the driver expected to transition into the lead position, and he's got quite a large gap over the likes of Kevin Powell, as Fetterplace over looks to be 3 seconds over the likes of Kevin Thompson. This is a huge bump up, with just having a 1 lap advantage over Kevin Thompson.
That is impressive to see, and right now I'm looking at it. there was a 5-second difference there when it came to, the lap times between those two. So I'm not sure if it was all entry into pit road, but it does seem like on pit lane that Thompson did lose about 2 seconds on pit lane, and then also had about a second slower pit stop. So that right there going to give you about 3 seconds, then the other 2 possibly from the entry of pit road. So just excellent job for the 20. And now the 6 with only a 1 lap advantage on tires, he's got about a 5-second second gap to close in.
And also looking at other drivers' pit stops, it was for Kevin Thompson the slowest full pit lane from entry to exit time of everyone that was inside of our top 20. It was the 6 who was the slowest, and because of how slow that pit road was, it also has enabled Andrew St. Cyr to be just 2 seconds off the 6 machine.
That's exactly right, Sam. I was just noticing that too. St. Cyr only 2 seconds back from him, and then even the likes of McMahon, he's only 3 seconds back with the fresher tires too. So this is looking strong for these two here. I mean, they're going to need more than, or the 12 is going to need more than the 6 to just have that slight problem. But this might have showed its first chink in the armor here tonight.
As we're seeing the likes of Kevin Thompson trying his best to stay ahead of this pairing you see on screen. It has been a joy to watch all this amazing racing action this season. But as we are closing into halfway of this race, you're seeing the great battle on screen. You won't miss a thing, as we are going to go into a quick side-by-side commercial break. When we come back, you're going to see the rest of tonight's racing action for the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series season finale for the SSR Design 201 here tonight, as it is the 2024 season 1 season. It's been a good one. Thanks for joining with us. You won't miss things. We go side by side. 5 wide behind for fifth.
Oh my, the 5 wide here, this ain't gonna work. They make it last, bumping and banging to the end. They're beating Vega for the lead. Sora still with the shot here, coming off a 4. That's it.
It's bottom line, here it comes. Oh no, Carter gets wrecked. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Turning to dive it down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes, Zachary Carter. He does it. He steals it.
But he somehow drove it into the corner to wreck it.
Oh, they wrecked. They wrecked each other. The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they got to be careful. Oh no, the 4 demolishes into 28. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series season finale for the 2024 Season 1 as the drivers race here tonight for the SSR Designs 201 at Charlotte. Been a fun one so far, keeping this race pretty green at this evening. Brandon Fetterplace leads the way, but the championship battle between Kevin Thompson and Andrew St. Cours. St. Cours needs to lead a lap, which then would put him in a chance to still have a fight for the championship, but most likely we're gonna have to see Andrew St. Cours win this race. But drivers just finished up with their green flag pit stop before we went to our commercial break, and now in the middle of this run, Zach, there's a couple of pods that are keeping very close to one another, but this is the closest group at this moment. This is the battling between 12th place all the way down to 20th that's in this group in the shot that we're seeing.
This is definitely some intense battling going on right here, Sam. Like you said, almost all the way back to 20th is this battling. And you got the likes of Eric Anderson. He's trying to make his rebound after that moment he had. He's trying to pass the likes of Wilkerson back here on the high side and run down Cork in the 41 in this group, because everybody right here is just stacked up, really. I mean, from Powell back from 12th, really all the way to that 20th position. Like you said, it's literally, 2 seconds less than that separating this group. So, the Beast 65 laps into this race and have everybody this stacked up is just showing how competitive it is in this midfield.
We've had a couple of scares here tonight. If you're just joining us, Michael Dow officially out of this race. He left on the first 5 laps of this race. Gary Armio had found himself in some danger with the contact with 50 Machine and is 4 laps down. And Mark Dumont also involved with that earlier incident. And the rest of the field trying to have a good run here tonight. Keep their nose out of trouble. But one of the drivers on the climb was Andrew St. Cours. But St. Cours in that weird spot, Zach, where he was so fast on the long run, but he gave up so much time with a poor qualifying run for this 12 machine. He qualified all the way down in 19th position. But he's done an excellent job to get into our top 5 and right now battling for 3rd. But at this moment, using up these tires a little bit more aggressively than during that first 45 laps of this race.
This is exactly what he doesn't want to do right here, because he was about 2 exactly seconds behind Kevin Thompson there. You can see right up that track up ahead of him, and that's what he wants to be doing, is tracking down that 6 and that 20 up ahead of him. But now battling with Jamie Horn here, this is definitely going to set him back a little bit. And on an even set of tires for this group, these two here, It just seems like maybe St. Croix used a little bit more this time, like you said, Sam, just to stay closer to Kevin Thompson, and it might be backfiring here a little bit, as this is the first time he's actually had to fight somebody.
And now going to be on the outside, trying to build that momentum, and gets loose, goes down on the apron. It's the 12. Luckily stays off the wall. And right back to side-by-side racing, and Horn takes that position away. All that hard work for nothing. You now have to fight back again, and this is hurting both drivers as this run progresses. They've lost over a full second and a half at this point.
That is so tough right there. If you're St. Croix, you got to make that pass decisively, and he thought he had it just that little bit free late off the exit as the banking falls away, almost getting the wall with that right rear. Luckily, he didn't do that, and he gathers it up and gets it going straight. But, man, St. Croix definitely feeling the pressure here, I think, as he's gotten closer and it's gotten more into the likes of where he could catch Kevin Thompson, but it's definitely still a lot of work to do for him. But Kevin Thompson, we talked about he was 5 seconds behind Fetter Place. Well, he's about 1.3 back now. I do wonder if, maybe the tires will start to fade here. We're about 25 laps into this run here for his set of tires. But I tell you what, he's been ripping the top and finding speed here as they come to traffic.
Yeah, I mean, he's been finding the speed. It has been fantastic to watch. But right now, you are looking at the points, Kevin Thompson's got to be giggling and feeling happy for the way this championship's been looking for the sixth machine. Some other drivers, maybe they're not thinking about the championship. They're thinking about how they could finish off their season. And for the 8 of Chris Leftwich, what a roller coaster it's been. We've seen the highs of the 8 machine. We've seen the lows. But ultimately, Chris Leftwich here tonight, outside the top 10, this is not where he wants to finish. He wants to be a top 5 contender, and he's looking for a little bit of help. Other drivers, we're taking a gander around, is seeing drivers trying themselves to run aggressively around the field, but someone's running a different number and scheme than what they're supposed to be, as Eric Gorman trying to make his way forward.
That he is. Eric Gorman here trying to get around the one car, and I'm not sure exactly who.
Michael Skimia is supposed to be running the 3, so getting a little bit. Maybe the Fruit Loops are getting to him. A little bit loopy is running the 1, as Michael Skimia is hoping for a good run here tonight. And I mean, our producer even saying it, liking the scheme. It's not a bad scheme, but it does trick us when we're used to drivers running certain numbers, and no one in the field has a 1. So luckily, that's the one thing you can take away. But now we can validate and say one machine as, oh no, Chris Leftwich. That's the wrong direction, as he has a graze through the grass, and the 8 machine parks it on pit road, takes the tow, and that's going to be making things a little bit worse for the evening as we take a replay here. What happened to Chris Leftwich as we move away from looking at the 1 of Michael Skimia, and he lost it in the center of 3 and 4, and it just was a never-ending spin for the 8.
Oh, he came so close to hitting the inside wall, too. If he hits that inside wall, he probably bounces back on the track and get a yellow flag. But he spins it to the right as he jerks the wheel and misses that wall. And like you said, going backwards onto the exit of pit road, he tows the car, and he actually calls it a night after that. So the 8 of Chris Leftwich, that'll be his season over. And what a way to go out.
Yeah, a spectacular one. I mean, he kept it out of the wall, kept it out of trouble. The only issue is that he made an unsafe pit entry and then an unsafe pit exit, which both of those penalties would make to where he has over a minute hold on top of the tow that he was taking to pit road. Frustration mounts over the 8 machine. He will call it an evening, and with that driver calling it off, it is now officially put the 12 of Andrew St. Croix into a must-win scenario if he's going to win this championship. And you have to see the 6 finish 21st or worse to win the championship, which we haven't seen truly any signs of Kevin Thompson having any falters, and it's all about putting the pressure at this point on your teammate.
That it is. Definitely a lot of pressure that, St. Croix needs to put on him. And like you said, in a must-win, he's about 4.5 seconds back from the lead, so that's still going to be a tough break for him because he's got a lot of time to make up. And it seems like this race, for the time being, we're staying clean and green, so it's going to be the time you make up is going to have to be on the racing surface. And where we've seen time be lost and gained is pit road, so there's still opportunity with one more pit stop here, just laying weights here for us later is I think around lap 90 is where you're going to see a majority of these guys make their final pit stop.
Yeah, looking to be around 90 to 93 is going to be that window we're looking for. As talking about good schemes that are out there, well, looking like a pink lemonade scheme out there for Trevor McLaughlin in the 18. Trevor, part of the cluster of drivers that joined late in the season, and that Ghost Energy machine trying to move forward, currently battling for the 17th position over Eric Anderson, and then also having Joe McKnight, which Joe McKnight, another one of those drivers, just hoping for a good run. He's had some bad luck this season. And McLaughlin trying his best right now to hold back this field. It looks like those tires are falling away as everyone else is blasting on by. 33 laps into this run currently on these tires.
We're starting to see the first bit of fade for a lot of these guys on the tires, seeing those 31 seconds laps being run. And yeah, you know, I am surprised to see still. Oh, it looks like St. Cyr actually. Oh, McMahon in the background had a big wiggle. Looks like St. Cyr now trying to go back around Jamie Horn. So that is going to be a huge position for him as he does make that pass on that 98 and now moves himself back up to third. Still about 2.5 seconds away from the 6 of Kevin Thompson ahead.
And Horn just does not want to let this pass go away, continues the fight behind. And what's crazy is, again, they're just giving up so much time and momentum when they're in line. Even though you might feel like the driver ahead of you is fast, you're faster than them because you have the draft. It seems like when they're in line, they're catching up to Kevin Thompson. But when they continue to battle, they lose so much ground that it's kind of worthless of what the battling they're doing at this moment.
Exactly. It seems like they take, 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. So it's kind of just an unfortunate scene for them as they're going to try to continue to run them down. And St. Cyr, I mean, he possesses some strong speed. He ran a 30.7 to pass that number 98 machine. We'll see if he can start to reach back down into that range of lap times, because he can do that. He'll be about 3 to 2/10 quicker than our 2 leaders, and that would be what he needs to make up the gap. So we'll see if St. Cyr can find that momentum, find the consistency. But right now, it is definitely going to come down to these next pit stops.
I want to say thank you to everyone that's joined with us so far and have been with us since the start of the season. Crazy to think that we're going to be crowning ourselves a brand new champion. Will it be Kevin Thompson or Andrew St. Cyr? But it's been a fun one to watch so far, Zach, as Mike Leftwich going to be entering pit road, going to be one of our first takers. Also, Eric Anderson. This is way sooner than I think we both assumed we were going to see those pit stops, but both drivers that I think are risking and gambling to try to gain some track position with this extremely early step.
It is right at the edge of the window too, Sam. So, I figured these guys would go about 48 to 50 laps. So they're pitting right here with about 50 to go. And it's going to be right on the edge for them to make it. So if you're going to get aggressive with the pit strategy, this is the point where you're going to see the most aggressive pit stops being made.
Also, other drivers that have made their stops going to be Leroy Koblitz just entering pit road. Daniel Wilkerson, who has been, after last season, again, this is our first season covering these drivers. You look at the past stats, and Wilkerson, I thought was going to be a little bit stronger this season. He's had some poor luck. Feels like the long run pace really hasn't been there for the 78, but here tonight, trying to go for a top 15 run, currently 13th. And trying to run down Andy Cork, who's been having internet issues. The 41 has been kind of spooking me whenever he does blink out. He's been gone for a quarter of the track at times and then comes back. That could be an easy position if the 41 continues to have some issues.
That's very well true. And, it's going to be interesting to see who does have issues here, because if we have more people drop out, have those positions drop out, and really lose out in this race, and we drop below, 19 to 20 people in the session, then that's where you can start to really feel comfortable if you're Kevin Thompson. He's still got to feel, somewhat good right now about his situation, but at the same time, he knows anything can happen in racing. He's just got to get to that checkered flag. So we'll see how that all shakes out. And we're watching Cameron King, who's up to the 8th position, having a really excellent run, trying to run down Michael Schemia in that number 3 car with the number 1 on the side here tonight. But I've been watching lap times a little bit too here. Andrew St. Cyr continuing to claw it in, Sam. So we're about a second away from him being up to Kevin Thompson. This is going to be interesting to see how those two race each other.
And we're also having some slight trouble of drivers getting into one another. You got lap cars, those on fresh tires, almost causing issues as looked to be Eric Anderson after his pit stop, getting squeezed around some traffic and not able to get around. Really can't see with this shot, but these drivers have been really getting on top of one another with fresh tires, willing to go 3 wide and almost putting some of these lead lap drivers in very tricky situations.
Definitely a spot where you got to be careful here. Is it looks like King got around Schemia there up to that 7th position. So good job for Cameron King there, but got to be careful through lap traffic. Anything can happen in there for sure. Is we having drivers on those fresher tires really dice it up and cut their way through. And look at McMahon. He makes his way around Horn. So Justin McMahon once again showing speed.
No.
He goes up into the wall there. You got Eric Anderson on those fresh tires. How long is he going to try to wait here?
And also seeing some other drivers trying to capitalize on those mistakes. And Anderson's already been put in the wall. He's already grazed the wall a couple of times, trying to get by lead lap drivers. And Horn, I think that's a smart move. Just abandons, dips out. Same going to be Andrew St. Court entering pit road early. And going to be seeing Justin McMahon. Again, one of the lap leader drivers to enter pit road under our first green flag stops. And just came over the radio. McMahon's pitting this time. Anderson's trying to place himself to make the pass. So we'll most likely see the 43 go high. McMahon's setting up for pit road.
Setting up for pit road, like you said, is it's getting very busy down here. Is you know, right there, the 12 was almost to the inside of the 6 and decided to pit. So he came down, and looks like Thompson and Fetter Place still continuing. Or sorry, Thompson down this time as Fetter Place continues on his gap. He probably needs to hit pit road this next time by if he wants to be able to at least stay out in that front into that lead.
And remember, Brandon Fetter Place, after his stop, built up over a 5-second gap, and let's see if he can try to mount up another big moment. Enters a little bit earlier than what we've seen other drivers, but for Kevin Thompson, he lost a lot of time on how slow he was driving on the pit straight, and also had a little bit of a slower just pit stop in general from his crew. We'll see what the 20 machine can get here as he'll be aiming into pit road. Cameron King, though, going to be an awkward spot if they stay side by side. Luckily, they don't. And the 92 continues on. The 20 hits his box. And that's a perfect pit entry for himself into that box.
Very good entry for sure, Sam. And he's going to get those 2 right side tires there now. Jack up the left side of that 20 car. And we'll see where this Ghost Energy number 20 comes out compared to the likes of the 12, Andrew St. Court, and the 6 of Kevin Thompson, which, man, Thompson lost a huge chunk of time to St. Court there. I tell you what, again, it seems like Thompson just being very careful on pit road, having a slower stop once again and a slower pit road.
A big thing that hurt him was the stop itself. It was a half a second slower, and on pit entry was just a lot slower. It was just taking things so gentle. And I think for Kevin Thompson, he recognizes, hey, I don't need to win this race. I just have to finish inside. Now, currently, because of the way that leading that one lap and St. Court hasn't led a lap, it's now put Thompson in the catbird seat of he just needs to finish in the top 21st positions, and he wins the championship. He doesn't have to be fast on pit road or pit entry. Just minimize those mistakes, hit his marks, and that's exactly what the 6 has done. The goal is not the win. The goal is the championship.
I completely agree with you, Sam. I think he has gone for that strategy of very conservative when it comes to pit road. There's no reason to make a mistake. If he was to go out here and speed on the entry of pit road, that would put him back in the possibilities of losing this championship. But because he doesn't do that, he's still fighting for a top 3. He's got a nice gap here with Jamie Horn right behind him, but still with fresher tires than Horn, he should be able to hold off this 98. So we'll see what Thompson does here when it comes to how hard he races the likes of the 98 and such. But I tell you what, he's done an excellent job of minimizing mistakes and trying not to give up this championship.
And across the line, Andrew St. Court has led a lap. He's now equalized in the points column. But at this current moment, the way we've been seeing Brandon Fetter Place, also Kevin Thompson, I don't believe that there's enough laps. If Andrew St. Court was to lead the most laps and, lead the rest of these laps, who get that most laps led bonus point, but at least equaled in the fact of leading laps. Leading at least 1 lap gives you 5 extra bonus points. It now makes things a little bit more reasonable if we see Kevin Thompson have a mistake. But again, Thompson, all he has to do, run inside the top 20, and the championship is yours.
And he does, Sam. This is Exactly what Thompson wants to see play out. I mean, if anything, if he can see his teammate go get a victory, I'm sure he'd be happy to see St. Core win the race and him bring home the championship. Those two have been excellent teammates all season long. They've raced each other especially clean, and they've always kind of, rooted for each other and kind of been there for each other. And that's what makes a good team, in my opinion, when you can have two drivers pushing each other just to be their better selves. And right now, it's looking like St. Core's got a nice gap, but don't count that 20 out. He's been up front all night long. I think this 20th better place. He wants to end out the season with a bang and get his second win of the season.
Yeah, and I messaged both St. Core and Thompson because they were in the more probable scenarios of winning a championship tonight. And I asked them how much it would mean for them and what it would like to feel this championship, because both of them were going for their first Cup Series championship in this series. And for Andrew St. Core, he said, if there's anyone else that deserves it, it would be my teammate. He has been the more consistent driver. But man, it would mean so much if I was able to get it done. And ultimately, Andrew was saying to me on the fact that, he's going to be a lot more focused for next season. He wants to be more consistent, show up for every race, recognizing that there are no playoffs, so you have to be there every race to get every point. And the 12 feels like next season could be that season if he continues at the consistency we've seen for the second half of this season.
You're exactly right, Sam. That one less race start is probably going to end up being, what really comes back to, so to say, bite him. Because if anything, you look at it, Michael Hayes, St. Core, both those only having 14 starts compared to the 15 starts of Kevin Thompson. They both have 9 top 5s. So it's been more, less winning ways for them, but more consistently in that top 5. Now, got to give credit to Thompson too, because he's got 11 top 10s, which matches Hayes with the most in this series. So that just shows you that he's had the consistency also. But definitely, I think if St. Core would have been here for 15 races, same for Michael Hayes, we would have had a very close and tight battle coming down to the end.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Hayes, he was leading the points standings going into our first 2-week break. And he was one of those faster drivers who was inside of the top 5, top 10 every single week for the 22. And then once he missed a race, it all kind of imploded for the 22 season. And then for the 12 of Andrew St. Core, it was always the fight of could he beat his teammate. Got the win, after our first 2-week break again, and was able to come back, grab the win that put him back into the fight for a championship. Looked like he maybe needed 2 more wins with tonight and maybe a different race, as seeing Jerry Clune blistering his way through this field of drivers that are just trying to make it through. And I think for Andrew St. Core, this was such a building block type of a season. That was another thing he talked about, was the team as general from Twisted Axle. It has been building each and every season, getting stronger and stronger. And from the start, Twisted Axle dominated at the super speedways as a team, and even at these intermediate and mile-and-a-half courses, it's been all Twisted Axle.
It really has been, Sam. It's been such great, work from them to get their cars right, and it really all showed right there at the start at Daytona. We just noticed that, hey man, they've got unlimited speed here, so they've got something figured out that a lot of others just haven't had figured out yet. And it definitely carried throughout the season to the other tracks, and it just showed their consistency. I think if we'd had the likes of Jennings here competing on a weekly basis, it would have been very interesting to see how that would have stacked up there. Man, we saw Jennings have his issues early in the season, but with his 5 wins, he was so when he's fast, he is just fast. So next season, I think we got quite the show on our hands, as this season it's been already an amazing one. But if we can have all those drivers come back, get out there on the racetrack and complete each race, we're going to have, a 5 to 6 car battle.
Talked about how earlier in the race, 18 laps in, what the weather conditions were looking like. Well, just about 80 laps later, we're finding these weather temps have cooled off just slightly. Air temp, 76 degrees. Track temp has dropped down now to 84 Fahrenheit. For tonight's race, that humidity still around 54%, 64%, excuse me. And the wind still fluctuating a little bit here around that 5 to 6 window. Drivers continue to race on here tonight. Again, that one machine, not going to see the number on our ticker. That's actually the 3 on our ticker, 1 on screen. You're watching the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series season finale at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the SSR Designs 201. want to say thank you again to the sponsors of Shoney's, Group 6, as well as Fanatics. Go down the link down in the description for Fanatics to learn more. I do want to say thank you to SSR Designs, as they are tonight's race sponsor. SSR Designs can take care of your iRacing paints needs while having a great customer service. The effort put into these schemes and designs are unmatched. You can find his page on Facebook at SSR Designs. Again, thank you for being today's race sponsor. Taking a look at our race report, well, there have been a few lead changes, but cautions nowhere to be seen. But Zach, a little bit of commentator's curse you could throw out. Tempted my fate last night. It was horrific when I was trying to cheer on drivers on who was getting wrecked out. But here at Charlotte, never have seen a race go caution free. Could tonight be that night as we're logging these laps down and getting close to 20 laps to go.
Oof, that's a feat that they'll try to beat. You know, they love here in the Doghouse Racing Series to have these clean and green races. So if they can close out their season with this, I think all the owners and admins will come out here saying, that was a good way to end it, guys. So I think they definitely hope to break that record that they have set. But I tell you what, in racing, anything's possible here. We've seen that before. We've had a few guys I've watched already start to slip up, get a little bit loose this last run. Everybody's pushing a little harder. Things may start to go wrong, and that yellow flag may come around at any corner. And if you're Kevin Thompson, that I think should be your biggest worry, is if we get a yellow flag, because that's where mayhem can come out.
Certainly could come out and mess up this race. Some drivers not feeling comfortable with the way that their vehicles are feeling. Eric Anderson going to be pulling it into pit road, but seeing again, this gaggle of cars, still, it's a little bit of a smaller pod than what it was before, but being led currently by Eric Warman in that 7th place position, all the way back to 11th, where Cameron King lies. But we have to move up for the battle for the lead, because Andrew St. Cyr, he built up the lead over a second, but it is dropped down. It is Brandon Fetterplace right on that back bumper.
That it is. Fetterplace has found his way back up to him, and these fresher tires, that little bit later stop there, those 3-lap difference, it could make the margin. And right there, the 12 loose off the quarter, save for the 19 behind him, Atwood, who saves it. But Fetterplace going to have the nice clean pass, and this is what he loves to see. He's going to have the clean air out front. And if you're St. Cyr, your possibilities at the championship are driving out your front window. And right now, he's got to focus down and see if he can formulate some way to get back around him.
Yeah, the only way Andrew St. Cyr at this moment can win the championship, with the amount of drivers that are out of this race at this current time, only 24 are out on track. Andy Cork has just called it quits here this evening. Same for Chris Lefwich and Michael Dowd. So with the way that these drivers are running, St. Cyr has to win this race and then hope that Kevin Thompson finishes outside of the top 21 positions. But some drivers are having major issues. Speaking of St. Cyr, he almost got caught up with the Joe McKnight getting loose off of Ford.
And he did. Everybody's starting to go a little haywire here, Sam. This is where I start to worry. You start to see these loose race cars step sideways, and right there to 45 of Clune in the ischemia. And luckily, Clune hanging on to it, because guess what? He's teammates with a twisted axle group. He does not want to cause a caution for his teammates there, because they would not want to see that, especially if you're Kevin Thompson. Now his King's going to go around the outside.
Cameron King trying to keep his night quiet as he's trying to rip the top and go for a top 10 finish for the 92. But Gary Clune just seeing that handling go away, and it seems like for all the twisted axle drivers, as the nighttime and the lights have clicked on, it is starting to see a little bit more loose. And maybe you made this wrong adjustment thinking that you were going to be okay, and maybe swung it a little bit too far on a tire pressure adjustment, or even could have been an issue of just overusing your tires, thinking about how this race is almost over.
It is, Sam. This, you can be making changes here late in this race. At final pit stop, some people can make that swing for the fences, so to say. Hey, I'm close enough to where I can get that driver ahead of me. Let me make a change here. It might go the wrong way, but it might go the right way sometimes, and that's the risk you play with, especially adjustments. And sometimes it's just a half a pound of air. Sometimes you throw a half pound of air in there, and it's just that little bit too much. That could be what a lot of these drivers are fighting right now, is even this track continues to change and maybe aren't keeping up with it, so to say.
As Brandon Fetterplace continues the drive on, all eyes loom on Andrew St. Cyr and Kevin Thompson. with 19 laps to go. This race is clocking down quickly. Still no caution here tonight. We've been caution free since the drop of the green. And what a championship race we are witnessing here tonight. Kevin Thompson staying out of trouble as much as he can, but at this current moment, the 6 is under threat, as well as Nicholas Atwood has fallen behind, as the 6 has Jamie Horn trying to run down this 6 machine.
That he is. Horn is trying his best to get into a podium spot, and what a way would it be to close out his season with a podium. You know, it's really been excellent to watch him grow throughout the season. And I think, you know, if he has this same approach to the next start of the season, he's a threat, right, for the championship. So, I mean, it is going to be an excellent coming out party for him. If he can go out here and get a podium, that would send a definite shock through the garage, I think.
Absolutely. In that last lap, it was Andrew St. Cyr, one of the fastest drivers out on track. Still 4/10 back from Brandon Fetterplace in that last lap, about a 10th faster. So I think the battle for the lead, it might not be over just yet, but there are a couple of other crucial battles that are happening on track for position. You still have the gaggle of cars from 7th down to 11th. They're on top of one another. And then you'll also have the slight battle for 14th place of Trevor McLaughlin and Nicholas Atwood. They're having their battle you see on screen. This is for 14th position. And then it's our top 4 figuring out who's going to be winning this race and who's going to finish in 3rd.
It is so fun to watch all these great battles going on. And St. Cyr finding the pace here late. He might be able to formulate just a little bit here to find you know, be able to challenge better place, so to say. So if he does that with the older tires, it's going to be such a great effort for him, especially running the 19th, as I believe the co-runners just on board just slammed the wall there for a second. And luckily, it seems like we stay green there for that time being. But right now, St. Cyr within 0.3 of a second, Sam. This is starting to close down, especially with some traffic ahead of this 20.
And you can see that gap, it shrunk. Also, that driver that slammed the wall, that was the 19 of Nicholas Atwood, who found himself with trouble as Christopher Simon in the 27, trying to keep himself just one lap down, as well as racing for position ahead of him for the 17 of Richard Leclerc, but the 20 of Fetterplace. Ducks down low, needs to make this pass efficiently, will do so, and Andrew St. Cyr with that contact, that could be it. His chances of trying to win this race snuffed out with that major hit with 14 laps to go, and Christopher Simon also doesn't look to be in better shape either with that 27 rip in the top.
That was just the rear end losing all grip for that 12. He let the wheel out to, you know, catch that slide. As soon as he let the wheel back to straight, that car went straight out to the wall and just tracked out into it. And that was a pretty good hit. Luckily, looking at the side of the car, there's no major fender damage, just more of a scuff on that door. But definitely one to scare you there a little bit and lose you about a good half a second to that leader of Fetterplace. But right now, he's got to focus on getting around this 27 first, and now trying to charge up to the 20, who's got a few more cars ahead of him. It looks like that's the likes of Richard Leclerc, and also, it looks like that's going to be Daniel Wilkerson in 78, who's the last car on the lead lap.
Trying to stay ahead of the battling for position. Was looking close, but Fetterplace, he grazes the wall as well. So this race ain't over yet with 12 laps to go, soon to be 11. We'll also have to throw this out. We've had a ton of overtime attempts this season, Zach. I think back to middle of the season, it felt like half the races we had to go into overtime, where we only have one attempt. If we get a caution with 6 to 5 laps to go before we get the white flag, this race can go into overtime for one attempt. Brandon Fetterplace, as well as Andrew St. Cyr, they better hope that they don't just throw their cars away, because there might be a chance with the way that all the handling of all these vehicles are going away quickly.
You're exactly right, Sam. The handling is going away quickly. Everybody's starting to snap a little bit loose when it comes off of these corners. Seems like Fetterplace may be on the tighter side. It seems like the 12 more on the looser side. So this is definitely going to be quite the battle, as now, again, the time is clicking away. St. Cyr is finding the pace, finding the grip here to slowly close up Fetterplace. And also the other thing is Fetterplace is running that higher groove. That opens up the air on the bottom and gives that 12 that clean air he wants. Now it's going to see if the 20 can clear the 17 Richard Leclerc and have some clean track ahead of him.
Poise forward, attack, and go for a chance here tonight, as we're seeing Richard Leclerc trying to stay low. Brandon Fetterplace is going to be trying to aim to go high. As the 20 hits his marks, that is the opposite of what we've seen Andrew St. Cyr be comfortable running fourth and down low, but both will have to run that middle seam. That second row is where they've been finding a lot of speed here late, but with less than 10 laps to go, this race is getting to crunch time, and Kevin Thompson is starting to get a sense that this championship could be in his hands as long as we stay green and the 6 stays inside of our top 21 positions. It is all Kevin Thompson from here, but the race for the win. Andrew St. Cyr getting close to that outside wall, but doesn't freeze it too hard, but it continues on.
Oh man, these drivers are pushing for every little bit here, Sam. They know what's on the line. If you're St. Cyr, you're hoping to just end the season out with a win. Yes, you need the win to win the championship. Of course, with Kevin Thompson having his troubles, but it doesn't seem to be that way. So right now, it's just going to be a straight-up race. And if you're Fetter Place, you're trying to win yourself another one out here at Doghouse and get that momentum for the next season. I think that just makes, again, another statement that, hey, I won the final race of the season. Count me in for a battle next season.
Count me in for a chance. That's all I want. And Brandon Fetter Place was waiting for his opportunity. He had to wait so long over a break to have a chance to run in the Doghouse Cup Series and immediately prove that he was a threat to watch out for. And here tonight, trying to grab another win for the 20 machine, proving that the 1.5 miles is where the strength looms for himself at Brandon Fetter Place. And this has been a joy to watch how this 20 has just been so fast at every track we go to. And what a threat he's going to be next season in the 2024 Season 2, which will return in August. But Andrew St. Cyr in the 12, he's a legend in this group. The second most winningest driver in the Cup Series. The 12 machine wants to grab his 12th career win if possible here tonight to finish out the 2024 Season 1 night. But with 5 laps to go, Zach, the 20, it's always when they catch up to lap traffic that things get difficult for himself.
That it does. When he gets to lap traffic, it just seems like it takes away the air more from him, as he doesn't have the ability to really run that bottom, so to say. It seems like for a majority of the time, he's been running about a groove off the bottom, and when he has to go down low to get out of the air of those cars ahead, it seems like that's where he starts to struggle. And again, right there off of 4, a little bit of a slip for the 20. Now, it's not going to lose time, as the 12 also had a small slip too, but it just shows you how on edge they are when it comes to how close these cars when it comes to speed.
4 laps to go here tonight for Brandon Fetter Place to try to grab a win, but he's got a little bit of lap traffic he's got to get by, and once again, he's got one car to get by of Steve Bonomo, but then there is another Twisted Axle driver. It's affiliated with Twisted Axle of Gary Clune. And it just seems like for Brandon Fetter Place, he just can't get away from any of these drivers. It has been Twisted Axle everywhere on track, but he's got a chance to try to go down low. But Gary Clune trying to put that dirty air on the 20 machine, not just giving this position away, is the 45, trying to stay on the lead lap with 3 laps to go, moves high, forces the 20 to go low, and it's a little bit of an advantage, but not big enough. With 3, soon to be 2 laps to go, the gap down to 3/10 with that pass.
That it is, Sam. It's closed down enough to here where St. Cyr can get close enough to really start affecting him when it comes to that mirror. And that's going to be what you got to think. You start mirror driving, that's when you start to make those mistakes, so to say. When you have this half-a-second gap that the Fetter Place has for the time being, it's definitely one that you like and you're comfortable. But as soon as it gets to about 3 to 2/10, that's when you start to really have to look in the mirror for those moves from behind. And right now, they got some clear track ahead of them. It's going to be mano y mano coming all the way down to the end here.
White flag is in hand for Kevin Thompson. He can wreck out and he'll still take the championship, but it is down for the win. Brandon Fetter Place, Andrew St. Cyr, who will find themselves into victory lane. It's 3/10 difference off the exit of turn number 2. The 20 hits his marks. He's pulling away with the better run. It has been a picture-perfect time of a night for Brandon Fetter Place. Andrew St. Cyr, the what-ifs are now going to be rolling through his brain off the exit of turn 4. Your winner here tonight is Brandon Fetter Place, and one of the veterans of the series finally gets crowned as a champion. Kevin Thompson is your 2024 Season 1 champion.
What a job. Great win for Fetter Place. But Kevin Thompson, the championship, the most illustrious thing you can take away from a season, and the 6 is gonna get it done, Sam. What a job from him. I tell you, everybody fought hard all season long, and it's been so amazing to cover it all. But it was the 6 who got it all done. The 20 closes out the season with the win, but this is the man who closes it out with the biggest trophy of them all.
Kevin Thompson, the second most starts in the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series. He had watched so many other drivers take the championship away, but as a Twisted Axle team, they grew, they got quicker as a group, and it was down to the teammates at Twisted Axle of Andrew St. Cyr, or would it be the 6 machine of Kevin Thompson? And for Thompson, he gets to enjoy the championship, the reward. But the team at Twisted Axle, they hoist the championship together because the 6 is going to enjoy this one. Same for the whole entire Twisted Axle team. Brandon Fetterplace, he's already burning it down. We're going to see a couple of drivers have some fun. But for us up here in the booth, we will step away. When we come back, we're going to talk to our champion, our winner, and a couple of other drivers when we come back for the post-race show. Talking to the 20 of Brandon Fetterplace, Andrew St. Cyr, and your champion of Kevin Thompson. We'll be back right after this.
We're 2 away from McLaughlin.
He easily can wheel spin it. I mean, Zach, there's always that worry on the start of these races with cold tires, and it strikes early on here in the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series.
That it does, Sam. That was very unsuspected there, and I went and looked at it, and it was just as he hit the shift from first to second gear, just that immediate shift up there on that banking transition as they exit out of 4 to come take the green flag. It just sent that car around, and nothing Kevin Powell behind in 93 could do. I mean, all he could do was just push them out of the way, and then Tyler Millette, even from the bottom lane, he got spun up the track. So that was calamity there on lap number 1.
And multiple drivers now going to be entering pit road to get service done. Tyler Millette going to be getting service done. Bill Gentry, Andrew St. Cyr, as well as Leroy Koblitz with required damage for the 42. He'll be sitting in pit road probably the longest of any of the drivers. Andy Cork is leaving his stall now, and Jamie Horn was one of the first drivers to enter pit road. A lot of damage for the 98 machine, and I got to say, if anything, you hate to see some of the drivers that were involved with this wreck, but this actually helps Kevin Thompson a little bit because a lot of those drivers that got damage, those are extra positions for the 6 machine, and all that Kevin Thompson really has to do, finish inside the top 15, and you're minimizing the amount of points you're losing here tonight.
That you are, Sam. That is a big sigh of relief that Thompson didn't get, so to say, involved in it too much. As actually he's on pit road getting a little bit of work done on that car, so maybe got a little fender bender up slightly from that, but nothing too bad. But St. Cyr goes a lap down from pitting there. Leroy Koblitz goes 1 lap down, and even Jamie Horn, he's still on pit road, so 2 laps down, coming to 3. So early drivers, top 5 in points drivers, really in a deep hole already.
Michael Hayes is going to be moving up and be one of the bigger movers. Also, Michael Skimia able to move up 9 positions for Skimia, 8 positions for Hayes, and both drivers now inside the top 10. Up front, new front row. It's going to be Jonathan Jennings and Kevin Powell. Going to be your front row drivers for this next restart as drivers are getting ready to go green. Single file.
Count this 20 out, he could very well be in the mix for the win by the end of this thing. He's had some great runs this season. But right now, everybody's single filed out with that early single file start.
Early troubles, though. Strikes in the back half of the field. The 27 of Christopher Simon falling down to 22nd position. Major damage for the 27 machine as he found himself spinning out off the exit of turn 2. And he'll try. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series. It's your 2024 season finale race for the SSR Designs 201. We're going to do things a little bit differently because it's a championship race. We're going to head down to the championship driver that worked so hard to find the consistency to be placed here to be crowned a champion. The second most starts ever in the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series finally gets the glory of saying he is a champion of the Doghouse Cup Series. We have Kevin Thompson, your 2024 Season 1 champion. Kevin, congratulations. How does it feel to be a champion?
It feels so good. I've been working at this a long time, and Jonathan Jennings, he gives everybody in this league, you got to be better. If not, he's going to beat you really bad. We've been seeing that the past 2 weeks. Other than that, it's amazing. It feels great. Teamwork after teamwork after teamwork all this year. For the first time in the next gens, it's been it's been something to think about. Teammate Andrew won it 1 year, and it's about time that we brought it back to Twistle Axle and got the team going again. And just wait until next season, and hopefully we run better and go back to back.
Hey, I tell you, that would be quite the feat, Kevin. Congrats again on the championship, man. It's great to have you crowned here finally. I mean, take us through your night because you had a great run qualifying on pole, really started it the right way by getting those 5 bonus points early. But we seen you make no mistakes really for the majority of the night, especially when it came to pit road. It seemed pretty conservative there. Take us through your decision making, though, through the majority of it.
Yeah, when the sun fully went down, my car just went away, and I wasn't making the right adjustments at the time. At the last couple of runs, I was tearing up my right front, so I just told myself to back it down and let the first place, second place race it out and see what happens after that. But I knew if I just stayed safe and just kept it on the track, and I would have finished in the top 3 or top 5 and won the championship.
I mean, Kevin, this season as a whole, we've seen you be so consistent overall with finishing inside the top 10 most weeks. You've grabbed yourself 3 total wins this season. What is it like seeing, I mean, also your team as a whole, seeing the dominance of the super speedway races and everyone as a whole on that team showing so much strength to come away with the championship and just be such a strong team all season long?
Yeah, it's teamwork, team practice. That's the main thing. And then just staying, doing what you can do best. Don't overdrive the car. Stay in your lane. Keep the tires underneath it, and if you're there at the end, you have a chance.
And you certainly were there at the end, Kevin. Congratulations on this championship. And before we let you go, the floor is finally yours for this season for any final shout outs.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Brandon for winning this race. We had a good race at the beginning of this race. My teammate for finishing second, and Michael for doing a great job this year in Doghouse. For y'all putting on a great broadcast each and every week. Everybody I know probably goes back and watches it. For Daniel for putting this on every season, and my family that watches each and every week, and my teammates at Twisted Axle.
Well, that will become your 2024 Season 1 champion for the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series. Your champion, Kevin Thompson. Congratulations, Kevin. Enjoy this championship. Enjoy the off season. And we cannot wait to see how you're going to defend for it in 7 weeks.
Yeah, and one more thing, go Dogs.
That is going to be your champion, Kevin Thompson. He'll finish third here tonight. We head ourselves to victory lane, though, for the driver that proved that he was the fast driver of the night. We got Brandon Fetter place. Brandon, you get the victory. It was an incredible battle between yourself and Kevin at times, and it was yourself between Andrew. But ultimately, you take the gold here tonight for the win. How are you feeling after this type of performance here tonight?
Holy cow. I am ecstatic right now. I mean, I came into this race, I knew I had a little bit of pace, but to be able to pull out a win and lead as many laps as I did, surprisingly, against the talent that's in this field, I don't even really know what to say.
Definitely an excellent performance, Brandon. We knew that you had it in you, man. You've shown the speed all season long, and it's really great to end the season with a win like this. Of course, you didn't get in here till about halfway through the season. How do you feel now with your chances heading into the next season here after this summer break? I mean, you got to feel good ending it out with a win and some strong momentum.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna come back next season. Maybe who knows? Maybe my couple of wins here and clean racing will land me on a team, possibly. But I'm going to take this momentum and I'm going to use it for next season and see kind of where I end up. I definitely need to run a full season here to kind of see where I stack up. I mean, there's some really, really fast, consistent guys in this league, so it would be definitely really cool to be in the championship chase if I can make it.
I mean, Brandon, based off of that, I think you're going to be the hottest free agent to pick up if you're looking for a team. And we at least we know up in the booth, you will be a contender to watch out for next season with the strength you showed here this season. Congratulations on this win and a great performance. The floor is now yours for any shout outs and anything else you'd like to say.
Um, uh, wow. Thank you. It it was awesome racing against Kevin. Congrats on his winning the chip. Uh, Andrew, as always, I felt terrible about Kansas, but hey, we can race together, and I won't wipe us both out. um, Thanks to for y'all for the great broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch it. Thanks to all the admins, to the league, to everybody that keeps this show going. Thanks to everybody who watches. Um, and thanks to Max Graphics. I don't shout him out enough for the killer ghost scheme that's on this car. And, uh, I hope everyone enjoyed the show. And I can't wait to come back and race again next season.
Well, we cannot wait to see how you're going to perform next season, Brandon. Congratulations on your second win of the season. Enjoy it, enjoy the off season, and good luck next season.
Thank you so much.
Well, from victory lane, we go down to second place. The driver that doesn't just finish second here for the positioning, but also second in points. We have Andrew St. Cor with us. Andrew, what a season for yourself. You said you needed a win to be in the hunt for a championship. It looks like maybe you needed another one. But man, how are you feeling after your performance here tonight with the struggles in qualifying to then finish second? This was a great race, it seemed like, from yourself.
Yeah, pretty excited about the result. Well, I mean, I think I would have been very happy with a win, and I really thought I was going to have a legitimate shot at it. But Brandon played that final stint really well, and he just did a better job saving than me. I tried to push to stay ahead of him, and he did a little better job saving than me on that final stint, and I just couldn't get back to him. I stayed within 5/10 of him, probably 6/10 in the final 15 laps, and I just couldn't get to him. So really good run for him, but I have to be pleased. I mean, with the I didn't expect a finish like that, especially after that botch quali. But I did know I had the long run pace if we were going to go green, and got to commend the whole group tonight for really putting a nice green flag run in. It was fantastic for the final race of the year. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Definitely was an amazing race, Andrew. And you had probably one of the best races of anybody, coming back all the way from the 19th position, being so far back at one point, I believe almost 7 seconds off the lead. So quite the performance from yourself to get all the way back there to challenge for the win, coming down to the white flag with a completely green race. I mean, congrats on that performance. I know you probably wanted that little bit more to get that victory, but what's the biggest thing you feel like you could take away from this season, and especially even the performance tonight, to show that we got another season coming up, you will definitely be right back in it again?
Yeah, I think we've got some momentum to build off of. Well, we obviously do. I mean, the team finished 1-2 in the standings, so overall, and I know Gary, coming off rookie of the year last year, had a solid season this year, and I know a few of the guys had some bad luck this year, and if it wasn't for that, they probably would have finished even better in the standings. So I think we got a lot to look forward to in the year to come. And I think you know uh, it, it's a tricky league simply because the way the schedule works with there is just um, there's no playoff, so you don't, if you miss a race, for example, it's really it's detrimental to the year-end results, and that doesn't take away from the folks that make every race, and but um but it just I guess you're putting yourself in a hole when you can't make every race and you don't. And then on top of that, you look back in the prior season and there were some races where some bad strategy calls, and there's a lot of woulda coulda shoulda, but it is what it is. You just learn from it, move on, and I'm just really happy for Kev. Extremely happy for Kev to get that championship. Well deserved. He had a heck of a season this year. And I know Michael was right there all season too. So Michael Hayes, so I've got to commend him for a top three as well. But it was a lot of fun this year, and I'm really looking forward to come back for the next season.
Well, it was an incredible year for us to be covering you guys. You certainly made it entertaining throughout the whole entire season for us to broadcast. Andrew, congratulations on second here tonight and second in the points. Before we let you go, the floor's now yours for any more shout outs and any final calls before the season's over.
Yeah, just thank Daniel and the admins for the entire season. They put up with a lot of stuff throughout the year and a lot of I guess there were some challenging situations to deal with, but everybody pulled through at the end and kind of capped it off with this amazing green flag run. So thanks to the entire league for that, and thank you folks for the amazing broadcast. I'm looking forward to seeing you back next year or next season. And I got lots of people to thank, but keep it short. My team, obviously Twisted, Kev for winning the championship, Beast Mode Performance for the setups that we come out with every week, and I think BMAC is probably watching again tonight, and she's there faithfully every week, along with Kevin's father, and so shout out to them for watching and supporting each week as well.
They certainly were rooting on the both of you for a good finish here tonight. That will be the Andrew Sink. We're going to be seeing how these other drivers are going to work. But Andrew, I got to say, what a season for yourself in this 12 team and Twisted Axle. Congratulations on this run. That will become your second in finishing tonight and in Champions of Andrew St. Core. Good luck next season, Andrew. I know we'll be rooting for you and your team to have another great run.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
As we move from our second place position, we already talked to our other third place finisher of that being Kevin Thompson. We're now going to head down to sixth place, talk to third place in points of Michael Hayes and get his thoughts on this season. Michael, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. What a season for yourself. I know third in points for your rookie season. You led the first half of the season in points. I know then you missed a race and kind of fell apart from there, but how are you feeling overall as your rookie season and coming away third in points?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible season. This has got to be like the most I don't know what you call it, respectful, and I wouldn't say like aggressive, but like all these guys are really fast like every single race. So coming in third place in points definitely feels really good. Yeah, it would have been nice to have had a little bit closer at a chance to win the championship, but man, I had a blast this season.
Definitely a blast of a season for you, Michael. Led the points there for a lot of the early beginnings of the season. Like Sam said, missed that one race, and it kind of all from there was kind of having to climb back up and get back to that points lead. But man, tonight it seems like a little bit of a struggle here with it going green flag. You finished sixth. How do you? What do you feel like you lacked in the car here tonight to go compete with those guys up front?
I don't know. I think those guys were cheating because I felt like I was as fast as I could be, but I was always a little bit off all night. And I kind of made a little bit of adjustments and it kind of felt like it made it better, but then I slowly started falling back again. So I don't know. I just didn't have it tonight, I guess.
I mean, Michael, again, you looked so strong in the first half of this season. How much does a season like this build confidence, knowing that, okay, I was almost there for the championship, going into the off season? What are you hoping to build off of to go for another run for a championship?
Yeah, just being more consistent because all these guys are really consistent and like staying out of accidents and stuff. Because I know I put myself in a couple bad situations this season that has definitely hurt me for having a shot at the championship. But you learn from those mistakes and try to put that forward into next season and other leagues you know, and try to move on.
Well, Michael, still a fantastic season overall. Congratulations on a sixth place finish here tonight. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs and any final thoughts on the season.
Yeah, as always, shout out to the boys for watching. I'm pretty sure a couple of them are watching tonight. But yeah, huge shout out to Doghouse. Man, again, this has been an incredible season. By far the best, cleanest series and league I've ran in so far in iRacing. And a huge shout out to you guys for broadcasting it throughout the year. You guys are pretty incredible with the broadcast. Always love to go back and watch these races.
Well, thank you for giving us a great show to cover. It kind of makes our job a little bit easier, as that will be your 6th place finisher here tonight. 3rd place finisher in points of Michael Hayes. Congratulations, Michael, on a fantastic season, and good luck next season on trying to go for the hunt for the championship.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You too. As we move away from our interviews, we take a look at our unofficial results here tonight. Again, a fantastic battle between Brandon Fetterplace and most of the Twisted Axle here tonight. Had to defend over Kevin Thompson. Then late, it was Andrew St. Cyr, but ultimately it was the 20 machine taking the victory here tonight. 2nd place goes to Andrew St. Cyr, but I think he's happy with 3rd, surviving the night. The 6 machine of Kevin Thompson takes 3rd here at the track, but ultimately the championship for the season. Then Jamie Horn, 4th place. You gotta love the fact that 98 had such a great run here tonight. Justin McMahon having one of his better runs of the season as well. Michael Hayes finishes 6th. And then you see Kevin Powell 7th. 8th is the 3 machine of Michael Skimia. Then Eric Warman taking away 9th, one of our biggest movers of the evening. And Cameron King finishing out the top 10. A strong run for some drivers that really needed to make a change with how their season went.
Exactly right, Sam. I think some guys got some great top 10s to end it all out. And so look through the rest of the leaderboard. Definitely some tougher nights here, farther back from a few. I think you look at even the 19th position there, Mike Leftwich. He was all the way up in the top 5 early in this race, just driving up through the field, using those tires up, and it really seemed to come back to hurt him. Same for Christopher Simon back in 20th. Eric Anderson, our top 5 points driver, finishing 21st. He had a tough night after that contact early in the race that put him in the grass, but it definitely was quite the ending of a season, man. All 134 laps completely green, and we had 27 cars take the field. It was quite the show we got here tonight, with quite even the ending. I mean, when you can go 134 laps and be separated by a half a second, that is quite the show, in my opinion.
It certainly is, and this is the type of racing the admin's been waiting for all season long. And I think with the core group of guys that they brought out here tonight, 28 took the green. 27 took the green, excuse me, and it gave us a fantastic show all the way through. Well, if you love seeing championship racing and the drama that comes to the end, tonight was about points. Well, Monday, it's about positioning. We have our final 4 racing for the ISRC Truck Series Championship at Homestead, and 3 of the 4 are past champions, trying to become the first 2-time champion in that series for season 6. It's going to be a race you do not want to miss on Monday night. Then Tuesday, again, if you're looking for a series to be covered, message us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting on X/Twitter and on Facebook. Again, on Freaky Fast Broadcasting to see if we could cover your Tuesday night series or event. Then the series that will continue on after next week is over. We have WSSR Cup Series, as they just came off an incredible race at Michigan. The question is, will they bring out even more great races with the major fields that they bring? Great action overall, but I think the one thing that's always sad is when it's the last race of the season, we have to take a break. The off season is here, and Zach, what a season we got to cover here. First season for the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series, and they gave us a great one.
It was such a great season. Yeah, it's always a bittersweet moment when you end a season, Same for when we end ISRC this upcoming Monday. You crown a champion, that's the sweet moment, and it's so, awesome to hear those people with the excitement and what they worked through. And we get to see the full journey up here in the broadcast booth. We get to see from the drop of the green flag from the first race all the way through the checker flag of the last race, just to see the evolution of the series, the evolution of these drivers. And it's always fun to watch that. But then that bitter moment comes in when you know that next week we're not going to have that race to come back to. But I tell you what, like they were talking about, they'll be back in August, and we'll be right back here on Freaky Fast at Doghouse, and it's going to be quite the season. I think what they build up at the end here shows that, man, we're going to have a 5 to 6 car battle, possibly even more if others show up, and even some others that had tough seasons. They can, turn it around, use these summer months to really get themselves tuned up and see quite the charge from a few drivers out there. So I'm excited, Sam. It's always a bittersweet moment, though, to end the season.
It certainly is, like you talked about. We have got drivers that are returning, and drivers we haven't even seen on what speed they might bring, and next season cannot show up quick enough for the field. But for tonight, what a special moment for Kevin Thompson. Again, the second most starts of anyone in this series, over 97 starts counting tonight, and he finally can say that he is a champion of the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series for the 2024 Season 1 season. It was a pleasure to give you all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you've enjoyed the season, we'd love it if you would hit that like button, as well as if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification button to be notified when we go live. If you want to see more great racing action before we come back in August for more Doghouse Cup Series racing on your Thursday nights, we've got great racing action on Monday, this upcoming Monday, the final race of Season 6, as well on WSSR, as they're still in the middle of the regular season. But for us, it's been a pleasure of a night. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, for Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you for giving us a fantastic season to cover. To the drivers and to the people that were watching and chatting throughout the season, thank you so much for interacting with us, to BMAC, to Shane, to everyone else that's been showing up throughout the season. It's been a pleasure to give you this broadcast throughout the season. Congratulations to Brandon Fetterplace on grabbing the win here tonight for the SSR Designs 201. But ultimately, congratulations to Kevin Thompson and the Twistle Axle team. They get to enjoy this championship for these upcoming 7 weeks before a new season, new hunt. Who will be the driver to take the championship? We'll see you in August to find out. But we cannot wait for more racing action. If you can't wait either, we will see you Monday. ISRC Truck Series. Who will take the crown for the Season 6? We'll have to find out at Homestead for our next Freaky Fast broadcast.